The line between politics and culture, it's gone. Power isn't just in Washington. It's in our feeds. And on Hot Takes from the Matriarchy, we don't just watch the culture or watch the politics. We track how power moves through it and who ends up paying for it. I'm Kavita Harris, and it's the first week of Women's History Month. And instead of inspirational quotes and corporate pinkwashing, we're talking infrastructure. Because most power is rehearsed in living rooms and group chats long before it's formalized in a law book. We decide what's normal in private before the system catches up to make it official. The matriarchy lens isn't about vibes. It's about structure. We ask two questions. Who designed the system and who benefits from it? And today, we have two case studies in strategy. First, the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan ended last week, as we all know. And I'm going to break down how Snoop Dogg didn't just rebrand. He executed a masterclass in soft power alignment, converting cultural capital into political leverage. Second, Love is Blind Season 10, the Ohio experiment. We're about 48 hours away from the March 4th finale, and I'm going to show you why this isn't just a dating show. It's a case study in environment-driven influence during a pivotal election year. This isn't gossip, it's power. And pretending it's just entertainment is how people get played. Let's get into it. Power move of the week. When influence becomes too culturally durable to dismiss, institutions integrate it. They don't fight it. They don't cancel it. They absorb it. It's cleaner. It's smarter. And it protects the system. The Milan Games just wrapped, and Snoop was everywhere. From the torch relay through the streets of Gallerate to the primetime broadcast desk with Mike Tirico. 30 years ago, Snoop was the architecture of a West Coast sound that defined a generation. He navigated an era that tried to categorize him as a threat and ultimately repositioned himself inside the very system that once treated him as one. And today, he's a unifying global ambassador. That arc isn't just personal growth. It's soft power alignment. So let's look at the pivot point. Michael Harris. In late 2020, Snoop didn't wage a loud public campaign. He leveraged a bridge. Alice Johnson. Think Kim Kardashian. Alice had become a trusted advisor on clemency with a direct line to the Oval Office. Snoop positioned himself beside her. And on January 19th, 2021, Harry-O received clemency. Now look at the 2026 landscape. We're in a second Trump term, and that move Snoop made back in 2021 wasn't just a favor from an outgoing administration. It was a strategic entry point into the permanent establishment. By using the Alice Johnson Bridge, Snoop proved he could be a cultural asset to any administration. He didn't just get his friend out, he proved his own utility to the system. The system didn't just pardon Harry-O, it recruited Snoop. When you saw him as the face of the Olympics last week, you weren't just seeing a rapper aging gracefully, You are watching what happens when counterculture becomes strategically useful to the institution. The system didn't defeat the resistance, it absorbed it. Now, let's talk about the show we're all watching, Love is Blind, Season 10. The finale drops Wednesday, March 4th. And unlike previous seasons, Netflix framed this entire milestone season around the state of Ohio. And as we all know, Ohio matters. It's a demographic bellwether where national messaging is road tested before it scales. The environment is the architecture. The show isn't about whether love is blind. It's about whether commitment can be manufactured. We increasingly make political judgments the same way, quickly, emotionally, inside curated digital spaces. And this isn't just about Netflix secretly running elections, but it's about how normalized silo-based persuasion has become. And this is how shit scales. So when, there was a MAGA conversation happening on Love is Blind, that was intentional. That happened in Ohio. And through the matriarchy lens, we don't just look at who said, I do at the altar. We have to look at who built the room. Because if you aren't looking at the architecture, you're just reacting to the decor. So the through line is simple. Cultural influence becomes political leverage. Environment shape decisions more than individual intention ever does. Next week, we're looking at Nicki Minaj. She's dropping her new album, and we're going to look at the Barb fandom. Not really as fandom, but as decentralized digital militia. Then we're talking about the Hughes brothers on SNL and the structural politics of the late night machine. I'm Kavita Harris, and because in the matriarchy, we don't just follow the story, we follow the power. And if you aren't looking at the culture, you're missing the play.